Okay, now let's hear from our race winner. Today's 45th annual Quicken Loans 400 here today at Michigan International Speedway in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. And our winner is Greg Biffle, and he drove the number 16 3M Give Kids a Smile Ford for Roush Fenway Racing. He's joined up front by his car owner, Jack Roush, his crew chief, Matt Pusha. And this was Greg's 19th career win in Sprint Cup Series. This is his fourth win at Michigan International Speedway. He's got back-to-back wins now at Michigan. And this is the 1,000th victory for Ford Motor Company in NASCAR Sprint Cup, Nationwide, and Camping World Truck Series. Certainly a milestone to remember. And then finally, with this win today at Michigan, Greg Biffle has secured his spot in the 2014 NASCAR Sprint All-Star Race. Right. So congratulations on that. I think you did. You took care of a few things here today. But talk about your win here, the race team, the victory, the significance of winning this 1,000th win for Ford as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a special day. You know, it was Father's Day, my first Emma's first victory lane today, so it was pretty special for me. And you know, we certainly didn't probably have the fastest car today at times, and kept working on it, kept making slight adjustments on pit stops, and you know, track position's huge with our car, and it's been well documented that we feel like we've been a little bit behind this season. We've been gaining on it. We've probably gotten a little more than we deserved the last 2 weeks with a second to win, but we certainly have gotten much better, and looks like we're well on our way to getting some speed back in these cars, and continue to work on them and figure them out and get them to be just a little bit better even yet. It was fun racing with those guys. You know, the 29 was coming at the start of that last run there, and then he kind of started to fade, and then the 48 was coming, and so then I stepped it up a notch, just about as hard as I could, and so I was matching his lap time for lap time, and turn one got really slippery with about 6 or 8 to go. I'm not sure why, and yeah, I don't know exactly what happened to the 48, but I about busted my butt down there a couple times trying to get all I could get, and just super excited for Ford, 1,000th win for them, and you know, we got to go drive a bunch of their cars and trucks over to the proving grounds this week, see some of the great, you know, 2014 and 15 stuff coming to market, and it's really exciting to see all that and all the racing heritage, and to be able to be part of that with the 1,000th win. I think I contributed over 50 of those, which is a small number compared to 1,000, but still sure excited to be the number 1,000.
And Matt, talk about the performance today of the number 16 team and how this car wound up in victory lane.
A little bit of a struggle this weekend for us. You know, we weren't where we needed to be off the truck, but we kept working on it. You know, we kept digging, and we talked about it last night, and kind of made a plan of what the track was going to do with being a green racetrack and no rubber. And I think we made the right adjustments. We were just a little bit off. We kept working on it, and we got it a lot better. You know, and you know, just to be here in Victory Lane, you know, is just incredible. You know, we've been working really hard on our program, trying to get our cars better, get them faster, and what it's going to take to get up here and run with these guys. And still got a little bit more work to do, but you know, this is definitely a step in the right direction. I believe we learned some stuff this weekend that's going to help us here going into these next few races.
Thank you, Matt. And Jack, congratulations on winning here at Michigan. I know a special place for you, and also the 1,000th win for Ford Motor Company. Just maybe talk about that significance and just the overall day that you had today.
Well, it's always a great thing to load the cars up and know that we're going to come to MIS and have a chance to race here. It's been a great racetrack. We've had a lot of success over the years. Greg especially is really steps up for the race. And I think Matt did a great job, a better than average job today of making adjustments in the car. And I'm not saying average for him, but average for the field. I think that there was more improvement in the 16 car than there was in most of the cars throughout the race. And that really was the telling difference that was there. I was not less proud to help Ford win its 1000th race in NASCAR, as I was to win the race here at the 100th anniversary of the Ford Motor Company. I think Greg won that one as well. And those are two great milestones that I've been honored to be part of. But as far as the 1,000 races, 1,000 wins that Ford's had here in NASCAR, it's over 50 years, and we've been involved with just over half of that time. And there have been a lot of great teams and a lot of great drivers that have been part of that, and we're just glad to be, and honored to be part of that history.
We'll take questions now for Greg, Matt, or Jack. If you have one, raise your hand. Pete, raise your hand. We'll get you the mic.
Pete Pistone, MotorRacingNetwork.com and SiriusXM NASCAR Radio. Greg, you've talked the last few weeks about trying to find something, get the cars right. Second last week, first this week. Would that lead us to believe that you have found something?
Well, I think that I certainly don't want to downplay our success at all, because this is pretty exciting for our team and what we've done. But I feel like we've just scratched the surface of how much better our cars are going to get, and we're going to work towards getting them better over this next, till the end of the season. And we were nowhere near competing with a 48 car and the 5 and a few others last week at Pocono. But we got up there, got track position. Our car was fast and fairly clean air, and we finished second. And here today, it was obvious that the 48 was a little bit faster than us again. And so we've gained on it. We've gained on it, but we're not celebrating quite yet. And if you want to put it on a scale, we probably found half of the speed we needed to in downforce or front suspension or whatever. But we've got some work to do still. Qualified 19th. We need to qualify better, and we'll continue. Like Matt said, we were way off when we came off the truck, and we got better. Qualified. We thought we could have been better qualifying, and then Saturday got the car, felt like where we wanted, and just kept dialing it in all day and getting track position. And we had a real tough time on pit road. We lost track position every pit stop that was under yellow, and gained broke even, gained under green. So I know it was kind of a long answer, but we definitely feel like we've made gains, 100%. We're certainly not celebrating that we found everything yet.
All right. I believe David Newton had a question. We'll go there first, and then we'll come up front here.
Yeah, David Newton, ESPN.com. Jack, any of the speed y'all picked up here in the last week have to do with some of the cooperation y'all starting to have with Penske Racing, and can you address how you feel like that's going to work?
We had a kind of a summit meeting with the Penske guys last week and talked about some strategies for engineering things going forward. The primary benefit of that cooperation is in front of us. We've done very little together. We have had one cooperative wind tunnel test that showed exposed some things to both teams that were different about the cars. But we just scratched the surface on it. The Penske organization is obviously got a great program. They won a championship last year, and they've run very well at a number of the races where we've struggled seemingly this year so far. But it's going to be great to have somebody that we can share information with and to learn from in some things where we might be deficient. But I wouldn't say that. The big thing that happened today is Craig Biffle stood up in the seat, stood on the gas real hard when it counted, and Matt Fuchsia, with his chemistry with him and the spotter, they made great decisions with the strategy on the racetrack and with adjustments in the car, and that's the reason we're sitting here. But we look forward to the one Ford thing that Jamie Ellison talks about coming to fruition and being a benefit of both teams.
All right, go ahead.
Greg, Dave Hackenberg, Toledo Blade. You said a couple times you weren't sure who had the fastest car out there. 3.5 laps, and 48's coming on. You're digging for everything you can get. Did you have a sense for what you had left and what you could have done at that point?
Well, my car wasn't as fast off of the green as I needed it to be. Right when they threw the green, they got jumbled up, and I got about a 25 car length lead. The 29 was able to run me down to about a 10 car length deficit. And then my car, the balance started coming in, and I started pushing the envelope a little bit harder. and started to drive the car harder. I was kind of taking care of it when they were 25 back. When he started getting closer to 10 back, I started standing, like Jack said, standing up on the wheel a little bit. And when he started falling back a little bit, then they told me the 48 was catching him. So I continued to drive as hard as I could. I had a little bit left in the gas tank, but not much. I didn't want to make a mistake, but I was driving pretty hard. And then when the 48 got, when we got down to 10 to go, I started, just doing everything I could, run the hard as I could, pick the best line I thought I could around the track, and the three laps that he was behind me in clean air, we were able to match his lap time, within a hundredth of a second or, pretty close to it. So I felt pretty confident at that point he wasn't going to catch me. But I was running the hard as I could get. And then turn one started to get, I don't know if it's because I was running hard as I was, but turn one started to get a little funny on me. It snapped out from under me. I almost lost it. And wrecking while you're leading is probably not the most prestigious thing to do. But I almost did, and I said I can't let this thing get out from under me down here. So I tried a little bit different line, and it was chattering all four tires, and I was still able to maintain the same lap time. And then he got in the fence. I don't know if that was a product of what happened to the racetrack or if he truly got a flat tire or something happened. But I was able to hold him off at that particular point. But to your point, he was quite a bit faster than we were. It's obvious. And bless you. So we need to continue to, like Matt and Jack said, we got to continue to work on that. The guy started 10th and was behind me with 10 to go. That's a fast race car. So start 10th and be catching me, with 10 to go, or be 20 back or whatever he was, however close he got, until I could start averaging his lap time out. We're not to that level yet, but we're certainly a lot closer than we had been, and that's the work we still have left to do. And it doesn't seem like his teammates are quite that fast either. Or, they're pretty fast, but it seems like maybe if I heard the 5 was pretty fast, I didn't get to see him. But, the 48 and 24, or 48 and 88 and 5 are a little bit behind that 24 car, too.
All right, we have lots of questions, so bear with me as we get through them all. Let's go to Nate, Bob, Hembry, Lee, and then we'll come over here.
Nate Ryan, USA Today Sports. Greg, kind of following up on that. Jimmy said he wore out the right front trying to catch you because he was pushing the envelope. And some of us heard on the radio that you said something effective. I love it when the 48 crashes when he's trying to catch up with me. Could you kind of expand on that? I assume that it comes from the fact that it was the reverse of last week where you're trying to catch him at Pocono, and that usually
to get stuff off my grill. These races are very, very hard to win. You look at when last time I won here, or the last win I had was here. This is a competitive sport. If it's not the last pit stop of the day, or it's not coming down to the last pit stop of the day, we had so much. It'd be different if he's eight car lengths back. And I didn't know when I passed him, he had something on his grill, or I let him get it off then. And I don't know if he did have something on his grill. But when I looked up in the mirror, and he was 25 car lengths back, and it said, Carl's got something on his grill, I said, I can't help him. Not right now. You know, this is my chance to win today, right here. And the 48's coming. I don't know if you know that or not, but the 48's coming. And there were other guys coming behind Carl that were going to pass him. And I didn't feel like I could take that risk at that particular time to back up, lose all that track position, and, you know, this outcome, it may have changed the outcome of the race. Because the caution did come out, and I was fortunate enough to stay in the lead lap and start up front again. And, you know, I don't know all the timing and where we were at, but it's possible that I wouldn't have had the lead when all that cycled through. The caution came out, I was on pit road. We try and help our teammates as much as we can. And if it would have been in the middle of the race, not a problem.
There's no team orders for that sort of thing, but I do support the decision that Greg made to not give up his track position, and we'll discuss that.
All right, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, for Greg and Jack, it's been an emotional and bittersweet week with the passing of one of your fellow competitors here, but the win for Ford and the thousands win. I mean, how do you sum that whole scenario up? You must be sad, but you must be very, very happy as well, I guess.
Well, Jason and I were pretty good friends about 5 years ago. We sort of drifted apart when he wasn't racing the Nationwide and Cup Series anymore. And I remember sitting in this motorhome lot playing Uno with him and Allison and Matt and Katie and Jamie and Christy, the four of us, probably 5 or 6 years ago. Pretty funny memory that we had doing that. But, we have, it's kind of ironic, I thought about it on the flight up here. We have Give Kids a Smile on the car this weekend, is our sponsor. And, probably you look at it differently when you have a 2-year-old daughter. But I've looked at it, when I first heard about it, the only thing I could think of was Charlie. And, how sad he's going to be to, those guys, they were best friends. And that's going to be rough in today's Father's Day. And, there's no good way, nothing good can come of that. But, we're thinking about them. And, we know they'll get through it, and we'll support them in whatever way we can. But it was a tragic thing, and, I wish there was something I could do.
Every time somebody gets hurt in racing, we need to look behind it and see what we can learn about the tragedy and see what we can do to establish some safety thing that would be that would make it survivable for somebody else in the future. And if there is something to be learned from this, Jason will have an impact, as Dale Earnhardt's death did, on the generation of drivers that follow him.
All right, let's go Mike Hembry, Lee Spencer, Kenny Bruce, and Stan.
Mike Hembry, USA Today Sports. Matt, was this race harder to manage than most races? It seemed like it was confusing with all the blown engines, the 2 versus 4 tires, cautions falling on top of each other. More difficult to strategize and all that because of all that?
It's just a little different than what some of the tracks, like the Texases and Chicago's, where tires are worth so much. And here fuel dictates a lot of what you do on as far as tires, and it just opens up a lot of different strategies. And we sat down this morning and sat down all week and just kind of made a plan of what we're going to do. And when different scenarios came up, and that's what we did, and it makes it fun. I like it, fortunately enough, we came up on top on the deal.
Go ahead.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. Jack, can you talk a little bit about the engines? The guys throughout the day were on the radio talking about the temperatures rising. I mean, at what point do you hit the panic button?
Well, one of the problems that we have with this racetrack, and it's not unique to MIS, but it seems like that we get more hot dog wrappers than almost any place else here. And there was a lot of overheating and problems that people had that were caused by engine heat. There's enough science around the engines now that unlike when we started 25 years ago or 26 years ago, we understand what the effect is, the detrimental effect is of high oil temperature on valve springs and on coatings in the camshaft and other things. And the engine has only got so many minutes it can run with high oil temperatures and not fail a component. And there was some great anxiety over that. On Carl's situation where they were wondering if they could go outside the parameters, as Greg was outside the parameters for a while. And the parameters are for normal conditions, but when it comes time to win the race, you have to do what you have to do, and the engine needs to hang on. But there was a number of problems that people had, and I'm always nervous. Take no joy when somebody has a mechanical problem because we all face the same risks.
And did you expect right fronts to be the problem that they were with?
Did I expect what?
Right fronts. I mean, there seemed to be an issue with right fronts.
Well, right front tires give much less trouble in today's
how much anxiety was building up and how much of a relief is winning today?
Well, there was, I guess, anxiety building because we weren't as competitive as we wanted to be. We weren't as competitive as we were last year. And the sharing really has nothing to do with that because last year Penske wasn't forward and we weren't sharing with them anyway. And we were better than we were. So, that wasn't really a result of our performance, either gaining or a result of why we weren't performing. But going forward, if we can share a little bit, there's not as many Ford teams out there as there are other manufacturers. So for us to share a little bit and have to race the 22 and the 2 every week, with them having a little bit of what we do or us having some of what they do, that may not be a bad thing. That clearly, versus us racing for each other for 15th or 14th, I'd rather race them for top 5. And so if we can help each other be better, and it's not going to be one-sided. There's stuff certainly that we can bring to the table, I'm sure. But you just got to make a decision on how much you're going to share, what you're going to share ahead of time so everybody knows. But, I think overall, we're still a little bit behind the other 2 manufacturers, and we'll continue to narrow that gap over the next 10 weeks or as we get closer to the chase.
We enjoyed, I'll comment, follow on to that with Greg a little. We were, with Gen 5 car, we were at the top for a game. It was a fully developed car, and it may have been that it had a little bit of an advantage over the other manufacturers in potential. But we certainly had reached the limits on many things. As we started with the new Gen 6 car, it was a jump ball. In fact, the car changed through its development and its introduction to have substantially more downforce and more rear downforce in particular than the Gen 5 car than it was anticipated being to start with. So we've had to figure out what to work on, where to put our focus and expend our resources, and we haven't done as well with it as I'd like to. But certainly we're on the path, and we've got nice light cars that I'm not the least bit unhappy about, and our engine's doing a nice job. And we've just got to find that last little tweak in the front suspension or the last little aerodynamic benefit that's going to help us, and we'll be right where we were with the Gen 5 car, very close to it.
All right, we're going to go to Kenny Bruce, and then I believe we have a question in the press box. Go ahead, Kenny.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Greg, where were you at what point were you all in the pit stop when the green flag pit stop when Jamie lost the tire? I mean, what was there concern that you were going to go a lap down? And also, I know you touched on this, actually talked quite a bit about this earlier, but is it just, I know you can't speak for them, but is it just frustration on Carl and Jimmy Fennig's part that they ended up with the finish that they did? Because they did seem quite upset afterwards that you didn't slow down and allow them to clean off their grill.
One thing else, when we pitted there, I knew with our lead that we had and the strategy that I was going to play there with the two tires and how much fuel we were going to take, we could not have gone a lap down. Even if we wouldn't have caught that caution. So we played that card that we had enough of a lead on. The only one that we could have risked that would have been the 99 car at that time.
And so the 99 car had already pitted. And back to Jimmy and Carl, what you got to remember is there's 43 cars out there. Okay? They could have got the stuff off their grill on somebody else's car. You're constantly passing lap cars, and look in your mirror and see how far you got a guy 25 car lengths behind you. If it's that hot, we all know it's painful, but you roll out of the gas and you let the guy in third catch up to you, and you have the spotter tell him, hey, I'm hot, I'm going to let you go, I got to get the piece off my grill. Will you give me a favor and let me get it off my grill? So you're backing up to that guy. It's a two-way street, right? You ask that guy up there to climb back down the rock to help you, or you wait for the guy that's coming that way and ask him for help. There's two ways of doing it. It's not just get me back up or I got a pit. There's lots of options, to get stuff off your grill. And I had to get stuff off my grill several times.
Okay, go to the press box.
Rachel Lindsay from the Toledo Blade. You touched on this earlier. The race took a certain complexion in the second half. And what, from your perspective, did you need to capitalize on in those 100 laps to get to the point where you did to lead the race? Well,
our biggest thing today, probably our biggest struggle went unknown by probably everybody around, I think, is we pitted behind the 36 car. And every time the caution came out, when we were getting ready to go, he was coming in. So we went from 8th to 7th, 15th, 16th, I don't know what. And then the next pit stop, he's coming in, we hit together. I ran into him and had to back up and lost a bunch of track positions. So that's the reason why we weren't up there leading earlier or up there running with the guys in the front. We felt like we had a fast enough car, but we just kept, I don't know how the timing worked out that we kept running into the guy pitting in front of us. Usually you have a problem one time and you get it ironed out or get it fixed somehow. But we were unable to fix it, so it happened 3 times to us, and that was our biggest struggle today. With out of anything, that was what we struggled with the most. It's very, very hard to pass here or anywhere, and it's very hard to gain track position, and we lost track position a lot every time we pitted.
Jeffrey Miller, Yahoo Sports. Greg, with this rapid-fire season, sometimes wins can feel a little bit fleeting. You seem like a guy that takes those wins and feels them and really appreciates them more than most. Can you talk about just what today's success or just a win in general means to you personally and professionally?
You know, I've been doing this, I hate to say it, I've been doing this a fairly long time now, and you never know when your last win is going to come. And every time I've won, it doesn't matter at what level, you never know when the next race is you're going to have a chance, an opportunity, be at the right place at the right time. Your engine doesn't fail. You hang a lug nut on a pit stop, the last stop of the day. You decide to take 4, everybody else took 2. You just never know when the next one's going to come. And they're so, prestigious to have. I'm thankful for every one I get. And this one was special today because of Father's Day. And I've been thinking when I'm going to be able to take Emma to Victory Lane and get a picture. That was important for me to do that. So that's what made today so special.
All right, we'll come back downstairs and go to Stan, and then come up front to Jim Utter.
Stan Creekmore with RPMtonight.com. Congratulations. My question is for you, Jack. At what point today did you fully believe we've got a checkered flag, we're going to win, and what did it mean a little deeper for you to bring forward this 1,000th victory?
Well, as I said to start with, it humbles me that I've been part of something that's been going on for half a century, which is nearly twice as long as I've been involved with NASCAR, and that Ford is. There have been a lot of great teams, a lot of great drivers, a lot of great engine builders that have contributed to the Ford success, and I'm glad, just proud and honored to be part of that. When Greg, I knew that some people in the field after the last stop there had taken 4 tires behind him. I wasn't sure who, and I knew that they'd only taken 2 tires because that was their strategy in protecting their track position if the thing had stayed green. And so I was hoping that the effect of 4 tires or somebody's better setup would not overhaul him at the end there. But when the 48 was coming for 2/10 of the second lap for a while, and then when Greg stood up in the seat a little more, and it stopped that. And I said, this is probably going to be okay. The first indication was when he stopped the 29 from coming, and then when he stopped the 48 from coming, even before the 48 hit the wall, I was pretty sure he was not going to give it up.
All right. Get a mic right here to Jim Utter, please.
Jim Utter, Shaw Observer. One question for Greg and one for Jack. For Greg, this might seem kind of silly, but you've talked about how you still feel you guys got a little bit of work to do, but given the situation, the win today, do you feel there's enough time left that you can be a serious contender for the championship?
If you had asked me that 2 weeks ago, I said no. We don't stand a chance, and I don't think we'll make the chase. We went to Pocono with a good car and finished second and got ourselves 10th in points. When I left there, I still wasn't a believer that we're all in the safety zone yet. Now, I believe that we've gained a little bit more on it, on the setup, and we're gaining bits and pieces on the aero. I think if we continue to work hard over the next 10 weeks or something, we'll be pretty competitive when it comes time for the chase. And, years past, we've been kind of at the top when the chase came, sort of. This feels different. This feels like we're rising up as we're coming to the chase. So maybe that momentum, as we get better and better and better and stronger, maybe when the chase starts, we're going to be, top dog or compete with the top 5 cars. And that's what you got to do. You've got to compete with the top 5 cars every week, or you don't stand a chance in the chase. And we're at that point at Pocono and here, but we got to do that at all these other racetracks as well. So we got some work to do, but I feel like we can be a serious contender over what we've just done in the 2 short weeks. I think we continue to work hard in the next 10 weeks. We'll be there.
And for Jack, I know you'd be pleased if any of your drivers won, but is there a more appropriate person to get forward this win in your stable than Greg, someone who has as he mentioned earlier, contributed, won nationwide and Truck Series championships, and contributed a great number of wins to that total.
Greg's is an outstanding driver for MIS, and he stands out every place he goes if we can put him with the right hardware in his car. In our world, the crew chief, the driver, the engineer, and all the technicians are a team, and we've worked hard in the last month and a half to try to improve the chemistry of that team so that it could work together better to get the best ideas to come to bear on the setups in the cars. And Pocono was a half measure. We were halfway there. We thought we had a full measure of cooperation in this race, and the next 3 races are races that we've tested at that we think will be really a bellwether on what we'll be able to do as we continue to explore this effort of chemistry improvement. But I'm not unhappy with the Ford car. I'm not unhappy with the engine. I'm not unhappy with the simulations we have. But we just need to bring, in a more timely manner, the judgments, the senior and the most experienced judgments to bear on the setups in the cars. And as I said, we made a half measure at it. We had half of what we were trying to do in place for Pocono, and we had what we thought was an improved effort for the last time that we were at a 1.5-mile track when we came to the 2-mile track here at Michigan. And I'm anxious to go on to Sears Point is a one-off. We'll go out there, and we think that we didn't actually send our team there, but we cooperated with another team that was there, and we had some good data from that. But hopefully we learn enough at our Kentucky test. We'll go to Kentucky and beyond that in Loudon, and we'll be in good shape.
All right. Any final questions for Jack, Greg, or Matt?